You are 17 years old. You live in a town that doesn't appear on most maps. The school has one room and no air conditioning. The nearest hospital is 4 hours away. Your father grew crops on land that stopped producing 8 years ago. You know two kinds of men in this world: the kind who work the land until the land kills them, and the kind who drive down from the mountains in trucks that cost more than every house on your street combined. You have watched those trucks your entire life. Today, for the first time, one of them stops for you. The Sinaloa Cartel, the most powerful drug trafficking organization in the world, built from the mountains of Sinaloa, Mexico over 5 decades. Its network now spans 50-plus countries. It supplies the majority of cocaine, heroin, meth, and fentanyl that moves through the United States. El Chapo may be in a supermax cell in Colorado, but the cartel didn't die with his arrest. It evolved. And it has ranks, and each one costs something you can't get back. Rank 1. Halcón. Hawk. Street-level lookout. The phone is prepaid. It has 2 contacts. One is labeled Tio. The other has no name at all. Your job is simple. Watch the road. That's it. Watch the road and text a single word when anything moves that shouldn't. A federal truck? You text Águila. A military convoy? You text Cobra. A car you don't recognize slowing down near the warehouse? You text Lluvia, rain. You make 200 pesos a day, about $10, more than your father makes farming. You tell your mother you're working for a cousin. You sit on that motorcycle for 8 hours at a time in the Sinaloa sun. You bring water and tortillas, and you do not leave your position. You have been told once what happens to halcones who leave their position. You were told once. That was enough. You are not important. You know this. You are a sensor, one node in a surveillance network that stretches across entire states. The men above you have never seen your face. They never will. You are a phone number and a reliability score. But you are also watching. You are studying. Every truck that passes, you note the plates. Every convoy's timing, how the federales rotate shifts, how they radio ahead. You are building a map inside your head that nobody assigned you to build. You're doing it because you understand, at 17, that information is the only currency that moves you up. 3 months in, something happens. A vehicle approaches the warehouse from the north. Wrong hour, wrong plates. You send Lluvia before anyone else does. The warehouse clears out in 11 minutes. The vehicle was DEA-linked informants doing a drive-by survey. Nothing happens to you. But 2 days later, you get a new contact in the phone. It just says, Llama, call. You call. You were invisible. Now someone above you knows your name. In this world, that is not small. That is everything. Rank 2. Soldado pistolero. Soldier. Armed enforcer. The mountains are not romantic. They are hot and dry and steep, and they smell like dust and gun oil and the specific anxiety of men who are always waiting for something to go wrong. You are given a rifle. You are taught how to use it properly by a man who learned in the Mexican army before the cartel paid him 3 times his military salary to switch sides. He does not ask your age. You do not offer it. Your job now has expanded. You still observe, but now you also respond. When rivals move into Sinaloa territory, you move. When a plaza boss needs a message delivered that can't be delivered with words, you deliver it. When someone inside the organization has been skimming, talking, or showing weakness, you are the answer to that problem. You run in a cell of 6 men. You know their faces and their street names. You do not know their real names. They do not know yours. This is not paranoia. It is architecture. If one of you is arrested and breaks, the damage is contained. You are a module and a system designed to survive losing its parts. The Sinaloa Cartel is different from the others, older, more disciplined. El Chapo built a culture that prioritized business over spectacle, violence when necessary, invisibility when possible. Your cell operates under that logic. You don't burn towns, you don't post videos, you move quietly, and you hit specifically. But specificity requires certainty, and certainty requires surveillance. So you spend more time watching than shooting, following a target for 2 weeks before a decision is made above you. confirming schedules, routes, associates, building the file. The actual moment, when it comes, is often 30 seconds of action after 300 hours of patience. You are paid $500 to $2,000 per month on retainer, bonuses for specific operations. You buy things you've never owned. You send money home through channels you're told never to discuss. At night, in the mountain camps, the men talk about their families, about what they'll do when they have enough. Everyone here has a number they've decided is enough to leave. Nobody ever says what happens when you reach it. Nobody asks, because somewhere in the back of every conversation up here, you all know the same thing. The exit from this job is not a door you can open from the inside. 2 years in, you have not broken, you have not talked, you have not failed an order. In a world where most men at your level are dead or arrested by now, you are still here. That makes you valuable, and value in this organization gets noticed. Rank 3. Encargado, Plaza Operator, Corridor Manager, Mid-Level Operations. You manage a corridor now, a specific slice of geography, maybe a border crossing, maybe a highway route through Sonora, maybe the tunnel infrastructure below a stretch of the Arizona border. Your plaza is a revenue-generating unit, and you are responsible for it the way a regional manager is responsible for a franchise. Shipments move through your corridor on schedules you coordinate. The fentanyl pressed in Sinaloa labs, pills stamped to look like Xanax, M30s, blues, moves through your hands in the sense that you manage the hands it moves through. You never touch the product. That is a rule you have internalized so completely it doesn't feel like a rule anymore. The corruption payments are yours to manage. The local police captain costs $8,000 a month. The border official costs $15,000 and prefers payment in US dollars left in a specific locker at a specific gym in Nogales on the third Wednesday of every month. You manage these relationships with the precision of someone running a payroll department, because that's exactly what it is. You oversee the tunnel engineers. The Sinaloa Cartel builds tunnels the way other organizations only dream of. Reinforced, rail-equipped, climate-controlled. They have construction crews who do nothing else. Your corridor has 2 active tunnels and one that was compromised and sealed last year. You've been told a third is in planning. You are not told where. The fentanyl equation changed everything at your level. The shift from heroin to synthetic opioids, fentanyl, carfentanil, compressed the volume problem. A kilogram of fentanyl has the street value equivalent of tons of older products, smaller packages, harder to detect, U.S. Postal Service parcels, commercial freight, 1,000 blue pills in a shampoo bottle crossing the border in a soccer mom's luggage that she doesn't know about. The U.S. market consumes this at a scale you've stopped being able to visualize. The numbers stopped meaning anything specific a long time ago. Now they're just quotas, targets, met or not met. You have a legitimate business now, a transport company, 3 trucks, real contracts with real manufacturers. It exists to explain income and to provide cover for certain shipments that ride alongside legitimate freight. Your accountant, who you pay very well and who asks no questions, files taxes on your behalf. You have a family, kids in a good school. Your wife does not ask about the business and you do not bring it home. This is an agreement you made without ever saying it aloud. Most nights you are fine, and then some nights you sit in your truck outside your house for 20 minutes before going in, because once you walk through that door, you are a husband and a father, and sometimes the distance between that person and the person you were 12 hours ago takes time to cross. There is a meeting, not a local meeting, a regional meeting, the kind where men travel from 3 states to be in the same room. You are told to come. You are told to come alone. Rank 4. Plaza Boss, or Jefe de Plaza, Regional Commander. You govern a plaza the way a governor governs a state, except your authority is total and your accountability runs upward, not to voters. Your plaza might be a major border city, Tijuana, Ciudad Juarez, Nuevo Laredo, or a strategic mountain corridor, or a port city where shipping containers arrive with chemistry equipment from China and leave with finished product bound for the United States. You control the geography, and geography is money. The revenue that flows through your plaza is in the tens of millions annually. Your cut comes off the top before anything moves upward to cartel leadership. What you send up is non-negotiable. The percentage was established when you were given this position, and deviating from it is not a business conversation. It is an end-of-career conversation of a specific kind. You manage relationships simultaneously: corrupt officials, rival organization ceasefires, internal discipline, personnel decisions, logistics failures, DEA intelligence assessments you receive from sources inside Mexican federal agencies. All of this is happening at the same time, always. The Sinaloa leadership structure is deliberately flat compared to other cartels. El Chapo built something that could survive decapitation. He knew from his own experience what happens when a cartel is too dependent on one man. There is no single boss now. There is a council. There are factions. Ismael El Mayo Zambada held together one side of the organization. The Chapitos, Joaquin Guzman Lopez and Ovidio Guzman Lopez, El Chapo's sons, run another. You report to one faction. You coexist cautiously with the other. When the Chapitos arrested El Mayo in 2024, handed him to the DEA in what the organization still processes as either the most sophisticated political maneuver in cartel history or the deepest betrayal, your world changed overnight. Old alliances became uncertain. Loyalties that seemed permanent became questions. You spent 6 weeks not knowing which version of the story was true. You still don't entirely. You operate in that uncertainty the way you've learned to operate in all uncertainty: carefully, expensively, and without sentimentality. Your face appears in DEA intelligence files. You know this because you have sources inside institutions that are supposed to be hunting you. This is not irony. This is the cost of doing business at your level. You buy information the way other businesses buy insurance. You travel with 4 men at all times, never the same vehicle twice on the same route. 3 residences that rotate, a communication protocol that changes every 2 weeks. The people who love you have learned to accept the version of you that shows up, the stripped-down version, the cautious version, the version that never says where he's been. You are powerful by every definition of the word, and you are also always one intercepted phone call, one flipped lieutenant, one DEA informant with a working wire away from a federal indictment that will define the rest of your life. You have stopped thinking about the future in years. You think in seasons, sometimes weeks. There is one level above this. You have heard the name your entire career. You may have been in the same room once without knowing it. The men at the top of the Sinaloa Cartel are not men anymore. They are weather. They happen to you. Rank 5. Los Chapitos, El Mayo tier. Cartel leadership, the invisible architecture. You don't have a title. Titles appear in indictments. What you have is a network, a living, breathing infrastructure that pumps products through the veins of the Western Hemisphere the way a heart pumps blood. You built it, or you inherited it and expanded it, and now it operates with or without your physical presence in any given room. That is both your greatest achievement and the thing that keeps you alive. The Sinaloa Cartel at the highest level is not a gang. It is a multinational corporation with a violence enforcement arm. It has chemists. Chinese precursor chemical suppliers provide the fentanyl ingredients. Mexican labs do the synthesis. Quality control is real. It has logistics experts who have mapped every commercial shipping lane, border crossing vulnerability, and postal inspection protocol in North America. It has financial specialists who move money through cryptocurrency wallets, real estate purchases, shell companies in Panama and the Cayman Islands, and cash-heavy legitimate businesses across 3 continents. You haven't touched a drug shipment physically in over a decade. You make decisions. You resolve disputes between plaza bosses the way a Supreme Court resolves disputes between states. Your judgment is final because the alternative to your judgment is a war that costs everyone more than compliance does. The 2024 internal fracture, the Chapitos delivering El Mayo Zambada to the DEA in a move that blindsided the entire organization, showed the world something it already should have known. At the top of the Sinaloa Cartel, the only loyalty that matters is the loyalty you can enforce. El Mayo built 50 years of the organization, and it ended, for him, in a plane to the United States and a federal cell. Joaquin Guzman Lopez, one of El Chapo's sons, the man who allegedly orchestrated the handover, negotiated his own position with U.S. authorities simultaneously. The message this sent inside the organization required weeks of management. Men at every level recalculated their loyalties. Some left, some were removed, some are still waiting. You operate in the aftermath of that. Your decisions about succession, structure, and internal discipline are now watched by every plaza boss, every corridor operator, every soldier who is deciding whether this organization is still worth dying for. The United States government has your name in files that occupy entire filing systems. There is a DEA task force, probably more than one, whose entire operational mandate is locating you. The FBI, the HSI, the DOJ Criminal Division, foreign liaisons. You are a project, a long-running, generously funded federal project. And yet, you are somewhere. You woke up this morning. You ate. You made decisions that will move shipments worth hundreds of millions of dollars through systems that will process those shipments without anyone in the chain knowing your name. You were 17 years old on a mountain road once, watching trucks you weren't in. Now, you are the reason the trucks move, and you still cannot leave.